Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is the 26th of June here in Auckland, New Zealand. If you're listening to this on the Beacon app or on YouTube or on Spotify, if you're doing the meditations, pulling an oracle card, filling in your calendars, doing whatever it is that you're doing on the app, please don't forget to tag and share and let people know that these platforms exist for your soul progression Monday mantra lesson to help support your spiritual journey each and every week. How are you all? It has been a really interesting time. Can you believe that we're going into July this week? So towards the end of the week, I think it's Saturday here in New Zealand that we're going into the month of July. We are over halfway through 2023, so there is much work for us to do. Now, I've had a really interesting week with clients. I have had quite a few clients come for soul ceremonies at home. Now, these are the top tier level of seeing me now, people who are really serious about their spiritual journeys. And I'll talk to you a bit about some of the experiences that I had that I can remember. Obviously, I see a number of people and I don't remember everything because I'm not meant to. I remember certain things that blow my mind or things that I learn from, which I always learn something. But as we recap for the week, we had the solstice and the new moon last week. So there was a real dip in energy just before the solstice, and it was meant to happen that way if you experience it that way. Obviously, as a healer, picking up collectively what's going on for people. You know, I was talking about the rejection energy last week, you know, where I am resilient with where I want my life force energy to go. And life force energy is like the sun gives us, you know, solstice. Soul is the sun. Gives us that energy to be able to put towards something. So that rejection stuff was coming up all over the place. I was hearing it with clients in some way. I was hearing it through friends, through business acquaintances. And what I was meaning by that, upon more reflection and obviously through the week that I've learned through clients, is that we're moving away from having to be resilient. And you're probably thinking that sounds so weird, Guy, like resilience is a positive thing to learn. Absolutely. But the thing is, resilience is often suppression. And now we're moving forward from unhealed things, unhealed trauma, unhealed ancestral stuff, unhealed past life stuff. So we're not actually having to be resilient anymore because we can accept what is being given to us as a lesson, as a healing opportunity, as a trigger for accepting ourselves and not feeling more rejected anymore. So how are you moving through your resilience about not being resilient anymore? Because I really feel like when we're on the spiritual journey, it's not, when you start really understanding it and being in the flow of it, life isn't meant to be all easy all the time because there's all these things that happen for us, but it's also not supposed to knock us down every time something does happen. Sure, it knocks us down, but it shouldn't be something that our whole trajectory on loving life and wanting to grow and transform should stop. Now, I understand grief is horrible in all kinds of forms, but it can be used as life force energy to grow after a certain period of time of the usual mourning process. And that there is no usual, everyone is completely different. So as we move through the week with the new moon and the solstice, great change was taking place. So if you've dipped in energy and then came up, it was very, very normal to be feeling that, like what's going on? I'm feeling upset. I was too, because I was picking up what myself needed to heal as well as my clients. And so the things that we are planting at this time is really for the next 6 years of life. And we're wanting to be balanced and integrate all of these things into our life. And so therefore, the solstice energy was a portal of energy ushering us into a new season and a new phase of life, which is just beginning for all of us. So how are you moving through your resilience and moving to a place of flow? where is your life force energy going? Because we don't want life force energy going into resilience, because it's like, I have to make myself resilient to be able to cope and live. We want to put it into the flow of life. Now, I have a client of mine, and I know she'll be listening to this, and this person and I went to university together, and there was a period of time in our 20s where we were in a social circle for a while together, and then everyone went their separate ways to live life, as a lot of us do. And then when she found out that I was doing this, she started to come as a client. Now, she had booked a soul ceremony with me last week, and a week beforehand, when I was talking about what people come to me to ask about, she had sent an email to Kieran, which Kieran forwarded to me. And this is what it said. I have been a client for 5 years and have more recently felt a shift into a deeper soul transition for myself and a calling to learn about spirit and my soul. The Monday mantra really resonated today. In the past, I always came to Gaia asking our guides questions about my roles as a business owner, as a mother, as a wife, and how I was going to get from A to B. I really came as a seeker, but at a very superficial level. However, after my 4th personalized meditation I received recently on detachment from Gaia, I started to see an almost immediate shift in how I viewed life and found myself wanting to learn more about detachment, spirit, and my soul's purpose. This has been a really profound time for me, so thank you so much for your spiritual soul progression services, Gaia. I'm truly thankful and blessed. It's taken me 5 years, but I'm starting to learn more about myself, and thankful to have you here as I learn, heal, and progress my soul through this life. Now, this was before this person came for their soul ceremony. Now, this is a prime example of me seeing someone for several year period. This is why it's so important to keep going with your spiritual journey, because at every stage of your journey, I will meet you where you are at. This person came for their soul ceremony, and we had a mind-blowing soul ceremony because she was ready. And it took 5 years, like she said in her feedback there. But this is the thing, when you're ready, you realize that you're not going to be taking your couch with you, your mother with you, your father with you, your beautiful clothes with you. You're going to take nothing. But the work that you do on your soul, the healing that takes place, the healing takes place for everybody that I touch and talk about when I am with you, is going to be what completely transform this lifetime and future lifetimes, and even undoing past traumas from lifetimes before. So it was amazing to have that kind of feedback from a client who has been seeing me for many, many years, because that's what it's about. It's about soul progression. For example, I've had a client before, and this person has stopped seeing me, and I don't remember who it was, but I remember the scenario. They got mad at me because I think I brought up something about relationships and pressuring the partner to get married. Now, this person had been married once or twice beforehand, and it was a regular pattern in the lifetimes before. And I remember her getting shitty at me, saying, I should be able to ask him for whatever I want. I'm like, sure, but that hasn't worked for you in the past. So what is it that we're learning? Wasn't interested in learning about what the soul progression was, just wanted to get married and have children. So this is what I'm saying. There is so much more to every single one of us than that. There is a reason why we want those things, what the fulfillment is for that, what is the purpose for that, all of those things. So this is what your soul progression journey is about. And this is where we're moving past resilience into what that client said, into detachment, that we don't even need to be resilient anymore, because we are experiencing life and the resilience is just happening naturally, where just things start to bounce off us. It just starts to bounce off us. Sure, we get knocked down, but we come back up really much quicker, to the point where it becomes a totally non-existent thing to be resilient. As we move through the week, I was talking about containment energy. So I actually didn't leave the house. I swear to God, didn't even leave the house. I opened my front door to let soul ceremony clients in, but I didn't leave my house for a whole week. So from the Thursday before, which I shared on my Insta story, I went to my sister's art gallery opening, art exhibition opening. And then I was at home healing people, healing myself until the following Thursday, which was the Thursday just gone. So there was a containment of energy available to us last week, and that was to replenish and restore where wasted life force energy has been knowingly or unknowingly going. So that's to the people, to the past, to the present, to the future, and I could feel it leaking from my life force. So you notice where you're leaking when you pull away and observe. Now, that doesn't mean completely pulling away from life. I just shut down energetically, and I also didn't go anywhere. I didn't communicate much unless I felt like I needed to or had to with somebody. But you start to feel restored even when you still have to keep going with your responsibilities. When you pull away and notice where energy is being wasted and leaking, where it should be being put back into yourself, because that's how your life force energy generates to be able to do all the things that you need to do in this lifetime and want to do. So you can feel where energy has leaked to feel other people's energy, but not your own life force energy. So you might be spending a lot of time, I've been getting a lot of this, people feeling responsible for their parents. You might feel like a lot of that energy is going to there, but when we detach and look at it, everybody's on their own journey. Everybody has their own things to heal. Bring your life force energy back to yourself. This is in itself resilience, because you're giving yourself back what you have lost and being able to contain your energy for you. So when you see from above, you can flow with life and water your own creations. So I started to notice, where am I leaking energy where I don't need to be leaking it? With the solstice energy, it wasn't all fun for all of us. I had a terrible sleep the night before, and that is because I was processing what I needed to before I went through that portal. So a lot of the healers and those who are sensitive would have been feeling that way, bad sleep or feeling upset, because we need to let go before we entered through the portal energy. We're through it now. Things need to leave us before we can begin again. Some people were feeling confused, restless sleep, insecurities, all of the things that are preventing our life force energy, that leakage from being contained and used where it needs to go. You're being shown by your higher self what you need to see and do. So that's why at that time I'd suggested a couple of meditations, and I also linked a link to Fashion NZ, which I wrote a practical piece around what you could do for the solstice. Wherever you are in the world, New Zealand referred to it as the winter solstice because it is winter solstice, but I wrote it generally for the solstice for my international clients. Your life force energy enables you to create. So with the solstice and the new moon, we have directed ourselves to acceptance of what is, so we can embrace what is to be. Flowing with life moves away from resilience into nourishment and trust. We are all changing, and it's not about coping or hiding, it's about healing and changing. It's been a week of great healing for myself, for my clients, and also being in the flow and reaping all of that is growing. All that is growing for you. Your life force energy is in charge now. It's like when you're fully, like the full glare of the sun, you can feel the heat and the intensity. That's what I'm talking about with the life force energy. I had some other incredible soul ceremony clients at home last week. I even had people who had flown in from Australia for the day to see me. Mind-blowing sessions. There was another client that came to see me who has seen me a few times before years ago and was ready, and they came ready. Their session, the spirits had been following me around for a couple of days before. So usually when I see soul ceremony clients, I can't work, like I'll see one client and then that'll be it. All my energy goes to processing that. But it's amazing when you guys are ready for that shift, what can take place for your transformation. Remember, I'm always here for you. There are different ways to see me, and I allocate different tiers based on your affordability. If you want to see me in person, that is absolutely a possibility, but you do need to be ready and being able to see what you are coming for on a soul level, not coming with expectations, but knowing that I'm ready for this. I'm ready to be in Gaia's energy and be guided by her and the spirit guides. There are obviously other ways to see me via Zoom if you want to be an Ascension Seeker. Ascension Seekers, you don't go on the big main long wait list. There are regular sessions where you do go on the wait list. There are mini readings, 3 PDF questions. There are soul magics, which are energy shifts. Now, these are spells. They are spells that are very powerful to help break through the veil of what you're trying to clear or bring in. They have an accumulative effect. They're very, very powerful. And so those can be done at any time. There are also your personalized meditations. I absolutely adore doing these for you. It's like doing a session for me. I spend about an hour and a half sourcing music, channeling through what needs to be done. And I notice that the more and more that you get, the deeper and deeper your healing becomes. So if you need to renew your app or get any help on any level, Karen is the person to get in contact with. And that email is soul33@gmail.com, or goes to the website www.soul33.com to see what's available there. And there's always a way to get my support. Now, as we move into the new week, obviously we're going into July, which is an interesting month. You'll have your energy forecast up soon that you can do. I do just a very general overview, but obviously I break it down every week with the Monday mantras and your homework. But your Monday mantra for this week is, my focus is on making connections and creating a link. My focus is on making connections and creating a link. So moving into a new month, more than halfway through the year now, it's time for us to make some connections and create links. So this may not just be about with people, but creating the links and connections of what you've been doing versus what you want to be doing. So what I mean by that is that those of you who have been with me for a long time, and some of you who've just seen me once or twice, I am exceptionally good at creating the link of why I say things and how it applies to your life. A lot of people can't do that. So, for example, I think I had someone last week, and I could see in a past life before that this person always had a son, and the second son was a drug addict in the lifetimes before. And she's like, no, he's not in this lifetime. I said, no, but there will be a reason for this. And the reason actually ended up being that the father of that child in this lifetime has a drug problem. And I was like, can you see that link and that connection now of why Spirit told me to bring that up with you? Because we are healing your son by clearing this past life, therefore getting rid of the destruction energy from him that is from the father. So your links and connections that you're making this week might be something like that, how you're starting to see what everything's been for, how everything's working together. Or it literally could be you are making connections with your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your children. You're creating links for business. You're creating some other type of connection and link. It's a connecting and linking week, okay? Because that's what Spirit's told me to tell you, and that's what I innately feel. We all have had to sacrifice something in our lives, and some of us, the sacrifices have been bigger. Like, I was thinking about this as I was writing this. We look at our parents and the generations before. They sacrificed a lot for us to be here. Migrant parents, I'm speaking from my experience, have parents leaving their homelands, sacrificing a lot of stuff to have better lives for their children and for the future generations. And this week, you may want to sacrifice something in order for you to have more abundance. Abundance is not always about money. Abundance is about having time. Abundance is about having love. Abundance is about being in flow. Abundance is knowing that you are constantly provided for. And it could be time, it could be money, it could be connecting with someone, linking one person to another, right? Referring someone to better and help them, because that is giving you the abundance of beautiful, good karma. If it's a financial investment, money does talk. The more we spend, the more we tend to value it. So a perfect example is to see me for a soul ceremony. There is a different cost to see me in person. And I noticed that before COVID, when I was seeing people in person, I had my fee at that time. A lot of people would come in distracted by my home, distracted by the view, distracted because they weren't coming here. And this is not in the mind, this is not judgment, this is just pure awareness, because my job is to be aware and mindful. People now who come for soul ceremonies, they don't even notice the view. They don't even look at the furniture. They're just looking straight at me, and they know they're coming in here for something deeply profound, because money does talk. Because if we spend $30,000 on a handbag, we're sure as hell going to look after it a little bit better than a $30 handbag. And that's just human nature. But there is energy in investment. There is energy in how you view things, and it is very, very transformative. So rather than looking for a bargain or a discount, look at it when you are making a connection and a link into something, that it's deepening life for yourself. It's deepening your experience. It's deepening your energy around it of appreciating it and valuing it more. You may feel at some point this week that you need to defend yourself, and rather than being defensive, if you are aware of you being defensive and you notice it, what it is that you're really asking from another is that you are wanting a connection with them that makes you feel trusted. Like I always tell my clients, you have to trust me, even if I'm pushing your buttons, even if I'm saying things that don't make sense, even if I'm saying things to you that you don't want to hear. You need to trust that it's for something, it's for a reason, and it's much bigger reason than analytically trying to figure it out. You must trust in making a connection or investing or making a link or whatever it is that you're doing. So look to make connections this week rather than creating distance. You may find yourself needing to reach out to someone, having a peace offering perhaps. Strength and commitment are also underlying themes for this week. You're being asked to look beyond the physical this week, dig deeper into why things are the way that they are. Your intuition will guide you. This is a lot happening with this intuition really guiding us over the last few weeks. It always is, but the energy is really deep around that at the moment. And sacrifice what you need to sacrifice, because it will be worthwhile for you in the long run. You know, June has been a month of things coming together and proof from life that you are on the right path, on how to get back on the path. When I talk about the path, I'm talking about the spiritual path. And this month, you've followed your heart into priorities that will serve your soul and commitments that will benefit your relationships. So a really important week, a really important time in this middle of the year. Remember, there are various ways to see me. Please contact Karen. It is only $60 a year to be a part of this app. There are no other apps like this available where there is a healer there in such high demand, giving you your homework every week and holding your hand through it. So anyone who says, but I don't know where to start, I create that for you by giving you homework. Start there and then figure out what else you want to add. That's what the homework is there for. There are suggestions based on, like I sit there and look through and tune into the meditation, go, okay, this is what they need this week. And then you add and do what you want into your favorites or your playlist. And remember, even if you're finding it hard to do a meditation because you don't like it or it's bringing up something in you, still do it anyway, because that's teaching you something. That's telling you something about why you might have resistance towards it. And again, it could be distractions and excuses, which I see with people a lot. So this is why I'm asking you to pay attention to, am I being defensive in any way this week? It's about making connections. So, Karen, for all the help, remember, if you're having IT issues, please don't sit there and be annoyed in your head because we can't help you. Contact Karen, because we will do our best. She's in direct communication with the IT team. We have 2 full-time developers constantly working on the app. And the more that you share with people and let people know by tagging, sharing, and honoring who you are, that you're on this journey with me, it also helps me grow this platform and create more resources for you. Your Monday mantra this week is, my focus is on making connections and creating a link. My focus is on making connections and creating a link. We are all connected, and it's now time for you to notice that.